The WWF, what the world is watching. Turn it on and rip the knob off.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Wrestling Memory Grenade. Now at episode 171, so kick back, relax, let's have some fun. I am Ray Russell, and this week we begin our journey through 1989 in the World Wrestling Federation, looking at the TV this week, the first full week of WWF TV here in the year of 89. And I do apologize, last week we intended to bring you this episode, but unfortunately things worked against us in the real world. All of the family was home and lots of things going on. We lost the internet for about 7 hours and just kind of set a lot of other things in motion that we really didn't foresee. And unfortunately, we were down last week, but we're back this week. And that's what's important as we kick off right now the January 7th, 1989 edition of the WWF Superstars of Wrestling. All right, away we go. It's Superstars for January 7th, 1989. Can't say that enough. God, it feels good to be here in the year of 89. Tape back December 6th. Wow, that's a long time ago. Over a month ago, back in 1988, Daytona Beach, Florida, at the Ocean Center. It is indeed Vince McMahon and Jesse the Body Ventura on commentary. And for those counting, it is in fact Saturday night's main event weekend. In fact, tonight, January 7th, the latest edition, the first ever edition of Snme here in 89. Going to go down. We'll talk a little bit more about that as this show plays out. But right now, we head off to the ring to see the tag team champions, Axe and Smash Demolition, take on Iron Mike Sharp and Rusty Brooks. Talk about a beefy tag team there for the demos. We also get an insert promo here from the Powers of Pain and manager Fuji the Stooge, who has his boys ready for the Royal Rumble. Fuji states that only one man can win. Will it be the Barbarian, the Warlord? The winner will be Master Fuji, you see, because no matter who wins from his POP, it's Fuji who gets the green. Meanwhile, in the ring, Mike Sharp gets "Give me the boot" early on by the Demolition, pound away in their corner. Then it's Rusty Brooks' turn in the ring, and during the beatdown, Jesse Ventura poses the question, with the luck of the draw, what if Axe and Smash are the first two numbers? Good question, Jesse. Vince McMahon responds, well, they'd go at it, pal. Indeed. We'll have to wait and see if something like that should happen at the Royal Rumble. Meanwhile, in the ring, it's the Demolition decapitation on the big man Brooks, putting him away 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Going back to that commentary, Ventura obviously not in on the plans, if they were even put together by this point. Highly unlikely, Jess. But I love the hard sell there. The Powers of Pain shoving each other. I want to win. No, I'm going to win. Both of them ready to win it. The teasing of maybe Axe versus Smash. It truly will be every man for himself at the 1989 Royal Rumble. We're just a few weeks away here on the Grenade. Man, I can't wait. But right now, you don't have to wait for Update. With Mean Gene Okerlund, this week's topic, the returning Big John Studd.
The World Wrestling Federation magazine, here's Update.
All right, hi again, everyone. Big John Studd is back. Immense, awesome. Those are the words to describe the returning Big John Studd. He made it clear a couple of weeks ago on the Brother Love Show that he was no longer a part of the Bobby Heenan family. He's back, and he will be in the gigantic Royal Rumble 1 week away at the Summit in Houston, Texas. Right now, let's take a look at this massive individual working out in the weight room. Here is Big John Studd.
There's big men and then there's strong men.
and I'm the only big, strong man in the World Wrestling Federation.
All right, Big John Studd is impressive, bigger and better than ever, and he certainly once again is going to be a force to be reckoned with here at the World Wrestling Federation. By the way, a little bit later on in this hour, I'm going to be back with a Royal Rumble report. Stand by for that. For update, I'm Gene Okerlund.
All right, so what we get there, very brief, John Studd in the gym lifting some serious weights there, deadlifting and grunting away, if you guys heard. Very short update segment, not much context to it other than apparently a 385-pound man loaded with HGH can lift some serious poundage. But kudos for the strength to Big John Studd. We'll just have to wait and see how that translates in the wrestling ring, and we'll find out very soon. Meanwhile, speaking of rings, we go back to one here on Superstars. It's the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, along with bodyguard Virgil. The $1 Million Man's opponent this week, Scott Casey. And man, with a name like $1 Million Man, you'd think by now Ted DiBiase would have bought himself some theme music. Alas, we're still a good year off, maybe a little more away from that happening. But good things come to those who wait. We do, however, get an insert promo here from DiBiase, who says his New Year's resolution is to wear gold in 1989. And he will, one way or another. He also implies he's open to purchasing his way to the number 30 spot in the Royal Rumble, as the announcer is even going to play up those comments there, noting that Ted DiBiase certainly has the stamina to draw number 1 and go all the way, but he may be looking to take the easy way out and buy a higher number. Meanwhile, in the ring, DiBiase turning his back early and nearly falls prey to Scott Casey and a schoolboy, but back in control, it's the falling fist drops. A nice power slam leading to the $1 Million Dream. Going to give Ted DiBiase the win, 2 minutes, 8 seconds, and a lovely $100 bill, a Benjamin Franklin stuffed down the throat of the cowboy for good measure. As we roll off now to the event center, and Sean Mooney standing by, we're going to hear from the likes of the Bushwhackers, Luke and Butch, Ronnie Garvin, along with Bobby Heenan and his man, King Haku.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sean Mooney back at the Event Center. Let the countdown begin. It happens 1 week from this Sunday. It's the Royal Rumble, coming to you live from the Summit in Houston, and you can see it on a pay-per-view basis. Standing by right now are some of the participants. We'll hear from rugged Ronnie Garvin and this off-the-wall tag team, the Bushwhackers.
Whoa! Yay! Here we are, Cousin Luke in the U.S. Bloody End! And the WWF Getting ready, Cousin Luke, for the greatest rumble of all! The Royal Rumble! Yay! Yay! January the 15th from Houston! I can see them all there, Cousin! The Boss Man will be there! The Hogan there! And there'll be every man and beast alive! But we'll chop them down! So there's just you and me, Cousin! It could be you and me! It could be you and me! I'm telling you, Cousin!
The Royal Rumble, 30 men, 30 of the biggest, meanest, strongest men in the world are going to be competing. The most dangerous type of match there is, men that I've never wrestled before. I'll get the chance to try for the best. And I'm going to tell you, the ultimate is to get in and get out alive.
Along with those three, 27 other participants will be involved in the Battle Royal, and there is more. The former king of the World Wrestling Federation, he will face King Haku.
That's the proper way to show respect to the king of the World Wrestling Federation. In the event Harley Race defeats you, I will have to bow to Harley Race. You will have to bow to Harley Race.
What? I don't bow to nobody. I am the king. He will bow for me.
Well, that may be too. But right here in Houston, there's going to be a crowning. Either I'll put the crown back on his head or on the head of the new king, Harley Race. My hands are tied.
Man, what if it comes down to Luke and Butch? I shudder the thought as they trade forearm shots across the chest, what many New Zealanders do. Also, Ronnie Garvin looking forward to taking on 29 of wrestling's finest, the WWF's best here at the Royal Rumble. And then we get to Heenan and Haku as Bobby tells Haku if Harley Race beats him at the Royal Rumble, then they will indeed have to bow before the new king, or the once again king, Harley Race. Now, Haku there refusing, stating there's only one king in the WWF, and that is I, Haku. Hey, who am I to argue? Bobby Heenan, though, refuses to go all in on either man, hoping to manage the winner coming out of this thing. So fun little story there, even if they're doing nothing with it on TV. Per the usual, Bobby Heenan trying to make this thing work. As we go back to the ring, more action. Going to see Jake the Snake Roberts taking on Pete Sanchez, as there's apparently a new Jake the Snake poster out. We see that on the screen, and it morphs into a Jake insert promo, noting that Damien loves Andre. Could the Snake and the Giant see each other at the Royal Rumble? We won't have to wait long to find out. Meanwhile, in the ring, Pete Sanchez finds out quickly with a short clothesline and the DDT, putting Pete down, giving Jake the win just 2 minutes, 7 seconds, and Damien going to come out for a little play thereafter. But the action just keeps rolling on, and my, what do we have in the ring here? It's the Big Boss Man with manager Slick, but his opponent? Is that a Mulkey here in the World Wrestling Federation? The Big Boss Man versus Bill Mulkey. Holy shit. A Mulkey on WWF TV, and boy, does he look out of place in an actual arena this size. Let's see if Mulkey Mania can repeat itself here in the WWF with a win over the Big Boss Man. And I'm sure, no, in fact, I know we've seen Mulkey in the ring with Big Bubba Rogers in the past, but the Boss Man, even more menacing. As the action gets going, we get an insert promo from the Doctor of Style Slick, along with the Big Boss Man and Akeem, who the Slickster now anoints as the tag team known as the Twin Towers. Slick says nobody can beat them together. Well, we're going to have to put that one to the test, Slickster, but it is the Boss Man and Akeem, known as the Twin Towers, here forward, a collective unit, as we see some beating on the floor here by the Boss Man, then back inside for a big boot, and the Boss Man slam going to put Bill Mulkey down. Match goes 1 minute and 47 seconds, but if that wasn't enough, what do the Mulkeys do best? Well, they take a beating, and post-match, Mulkey suffers another beating at the hands of the Nightstick. While cuffed to the ropes there, the Big Boss Man, no mercy here on the Mulkey, and Boss Man ready for the Rumble, ready to take on all comers, and no doubt looking for Hulk Hogan. And right now we go back to the event center, and Sean Mooney once again. This time we're going to hear from the likes of Mr. Perfect and the reigning WWF champion, the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
We're back at the event center. It will happen 1 week from this Sunday, the Royal Rumble, January 15th, coming to you live from the Summit in Houston, available exclusively on a pay-per-view basis. 30 superstars of the World Wrestling Federation involved in the Royal Rumble, and the possibilities are endless. Remember, it's every man for himself. Just think about the tag teams. They could be the last two in the ring, and they must battle one another. Right now, standing by is the champion, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. First, we'll hear from Mr. Perfect.
The Royal Rumble. All the egos in the World Wrestling Federation are all going to meet at once. Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Savage, this is the time where Mr. Perfect makes his move, and then everybody in the wrestling world will know that I'm the man that stands tall, and I'm the man that stands proud, for I am Mr. Perfect.
Royal Rumble, yeah, listen to that name. Kind of rumbling sound. Elizabeth realized the fact that Houston, Texas is the site. And what a ticklish situation it is, with no pun intended, yeah, for the World Wrestling Federation champion to walk into that squared circle with no friends. Yeah, everybody gunning for the champion, because what I got around my waist, Elizabeth, you have got to realize that everybody wants. Yeah, everybody wants it. Yeah, Bad News Brown wants my belt. And then even on the other side, Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Yeah, if I was easy pickings at the right time, at the right place, I wouldn't turn my back to nobody. Yeah, that's what the Royal Rumble's all about. Don't blame me, Elizabeth. World Wrestling Federation champion's got to look out for himself. And in the Royal Rumble, the champion will survive. Yeah.
Kurt Hennig looking for the perfect win at the Royal Rumble. Boy, to outlast everyone else, all 29 other opponents, that certainly would be a perfect win for Kurt Hennig. Also, the Macho Man, stating there are no friends in the Rumble. Everybody is going to be gunning for the champion. Everybody wants his title belt. Macho promises he won't turn his back on anybody. You better follow through with that, Randy. And then it's back to the ring for tag team action. Going to see Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, the Brainbusters, with manager Bobby Heenan in their corner, taking on Tim Horner and George South. And just a few moments ago, we saw Big Bubba and a Mulkey, and now it's the Horsemen versus Horner and South a very Crockett-esque feeling this week on Superstars. We also get an insert promo here from the Rockers, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, ready for the Rumble, and they hope they run into the Brainbusters in the meantime. Meanwhile, back to the action, Tim Horner holding his own early, wrestling Tully down to the mat, and then a Hurricane Rana on Arn Anderson by White Lightning. Then in comes George South, who was immediately cut off. Good double teaming here by the Busters. Arn delivering that patented spine buster before Tully going to lure in Horner, which distracts the referee. So the Busters can deliver a spike pile driver. Damn, Tully off the top. Arn delivering that pile driver. Going to get the win there at 2 minutes, 21 seconds. And again, using a nasty double team move like that. I love the fact that Tully luring Tim Horner into the ring to distract the official while they deliver the move behind the ref's back, as they finally found a collective team finisher after just a few months here in the company, and a nasty one at that. As Jesse Ventura puts it on commentary, he makes it sound so deadly. I haven't seen that used in years, McMahon. Well, it's back now here in 1989. The Brainbusters unleashed the Spike Pile Driver here in the World Wrestling Federation. Also, this week on Superstars, it's another edition of the Brother Love Show with guest Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I will spare you guys and just run over quickly what this one was about. Fun with props this week is what it's about. The Barber bringing out an easel with a picture of Outlaw Ron Bass on it. Beefer then going to flip through the various haircuts we could see on the Outlaw after their upcoming hair versus hair match tonight on Saturday night's main event. Next week here on The Grenade, we'll be covering that at length, so stay tuned, guys, for SNME. Segment, very primitive, though. We'd see things like that many years later, of course, up on the Titantron with some digital editing of haircuts, hairstyles, if you will, but here, it's simply a Sharpie and some pieces of paper. On the upside, looks like the feud finally going to come to an end tonight on Saturday night's main event. And speaking of big events, guys, we're off right now to this week's Royal Rumble report. We're going to hear from Mean Gene Okerlund running down the list of big matches upcoming. We're also going to hear from some of these superstars involved.
All right, hi again, everybody. This is Gene Okerlund, and this is your Royal Rumble report. Get ready. This coming Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, the 1989 edition of the Royal Rumble, the only time you can see 30 World Wrestling Federation superstars in the same match. The rules are very simple. Just prior to the competition, 30 men draw numbers out of a hat. That's the way they enter the ring. You start with 2 men, and every 2 minutes thereafter, another man enters the competition. I should point out the luck of the draw is very important. Of course, a man that draws 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those early numbers, it's going to be a tough haul. However, on the other end, 25 through 30, those numbers very advantageous for a fresh competitor in the Royal Rumble. No partners, no friends, every man for himself, and you can still pick up on it all by getting on the horn right now. Pick up the telephone, make the call. Call your local cable system and order the World Wrestling Federation Royal Rumble. It all happens this Sunday afternoon with a 4 p.m. Eastern start. Let's go back to Saturday night's main event. Last week, Brutus the Barber Beefcake met Outlaw Ron Bass. Let's join the action in progress. All right, that from Saturday night's main event. Right now, standing by, and by the way, you're going to see him this Sunday afternoon in the Royal Rumble, Outlaw Ron Bass.
The Royal Rumble, you know something? That's right down my alley, because I've been in Royal Rumbles nearly all my life. You know, you get down to the old bar and grill down at old Joe's place, and somebody gets an old snoot full, he gets to feeling real good, and boy, here it goes. It's every man for himself. You knock over tables, you knock over chairs, you're throwing bottles, you're throwing people, you're throwing little babies if they get in the way. It's every man for himself. Look out, Hogan. Look out, Powers and Pain. Demolition. It don't matter. I'm going to take you all out, baby.
All right, it will be unveiled this coming Sunday afternoon. The new haircut I'm talking about of Outlaw Ron Bass. All right, in addition to the Royal Rumble, let's talk about some other things that are going to be happening. A gigantic 6-man tag. The participants, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, teaming up with the Hart Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart, Jim the Animal Neidhart. They will be facing none other than Canadian Dino Bravo and fellow, or at least former countrymen, the fabulous Rougeaus, Jacques and Raymond. International rules prevail. 2 out of 3 falls for the winners in this one. The women's champion, Rockin' Robin, to defend this Sunday afternoon. You can see it on pay-per-view against the veteran Judy Martin. How about the crown match? Yes, the battle for the crown between King Haku and Harley Race. That should be something to behold. And the pose down, the super pose down between the Ultimate Warrior and Ravishing Rick Rude. We got comments from both of these men.
Well, the word's been out for some time that the Ultimate Warrior is putting the title on the line and accepting any and all challenges. But Ravishing Rick Rude, if you want to challenge the Ultimate Warrior to what you think is unfamiliar to me, then bring the Super Posedown on. Because there'll be a time, Rude, when you'll have to step into the cold and dark with the Ultimate Warrior and accept my challenge. And then and only then will you feel the full power of the Ultimate Warrior as it comes down on you and makes you feel the pain.
The Ultimate Warrior, the Intercontinental Champion. Well, you found your Never Never Land right here in the WWF. But now it's time to click your heels together and say there's no place like home. Because in a Super Posedown, Ravishing Rick Rude's gonna bring you down to earth. When it's a Posedown, Warrior, it's not just what you got, it's how you flaunt it. And in Houston, I'm gonna make all the ladies want it.
All right, the Super Posedown this Sunday afternoon between the Ultimate Warrior and Ravishing Rick Rude. All right, back to the Royal Rumble and the men who are going to be making their appearance in the spectacular this Sunday afternoon. First, Hulk Hogan, the phenomenal Hulk Hogan, longtime World Wrestling Federation champion. Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. The Bushwhackers, Luke and Butch. Red Rooster. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Current tag team champions, Axe and Smash from Demolition. And men standing by with comments, they are the Powers of Pain, the Warlord and Barbarian with manager Mr. Fuji.
Me.
Wait a minute! Oh, Master Fuji got a mean, so mean. It's like a tiger been hurt. They're looking for anything to hurt. And I love it. I love it. But there'll be one winner. The winner will be Master Fuji.
Here's another great one added to the Royal Rumble rugged. Ronnie Garvin makes his appearance at the World Wrestling Federation at the Summit in Houston this Sunday afternoon. Tito Santana, Bad News Brown, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Big John Studd is back. And what about this guy? He's managed by Bobby Heenan. He is Andre the Giant.
You know, I know your psychology, Jake Roberts. 30 men in that battle royal fighting to survive the Royal Rumble. You're going to be hiding behind 29 of them. You're going to be hiding so this man does not get his hands on you.
But I'll be right there. I'll be right there, Jake. I'm really looking for you and for you again and for all you guys in there. And of course, I'll be the last one there, but I ain't going to tell you the way I'm going to do it. But lots of people are going in the hospital that night. I promise you that. And I promise you that. We're going to win again.
All right, from Andre the Giant to the next man of the Royal Rumble, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Andre, don't forget Damien. Damien will be on hand this Sunday afternoon. They're red hot, the Brainbusters, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. The flamboyant Birdman, Coco Beware. The Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. The Honky Tonk Band this Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern start in the Royal Rumble. Outlaw Ron Bass. And this man, he is the mighty Hercules.
You know they needed a state as big as Texas to have the biggest fight of your life. The Royal Rumble. It's so important, I don't know how to explain it to you. It's every man for himself. There's no rules. Sometimes you gotta do something that you don't feel like doing, but you gotta do it tonight. No matter who it is, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, but Ted DiBiase, you know in the back of your mind, I'm just looking for you, man.
All right. Also, the African Dream, Akeem, one half of the Twin Towers, will be in the Royal Rumble. Plus, the Big Boss Man, Rick Martel, and last but not least, the undisputed World Wrestling Federation champion, Macho Man Randy Savage. Of course, the managers, including Elizabeth, will all be on hand this Sunday afternoon with a 4 p.m. Eastern start for the 1989 edition of the Royal Rumble. Now at the 11th hour, is the time to get on the horn. Contact your local cable system and join us on a pay-per-view basis for one of the most exciting World Wrestling Federation extravaganzas to ever come down. I'm talking about the Royal Rumble this Sunday afternoon. Again, a reminder, 4 p.m. Eastern start. All of the great ones for the World Wrestling Federation are going to be in Houston for the summit, and you can see it too. With the Royal Rumble Report, I'm Gene Okerlund.
We hear from both sides of the Super Posedown when Rick Rude battles the Ultimate Warrior. And now we go back to the ring. Feature match time here on Superstars as the Hitman, Bret Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Hart Foundation, taking on apparently another team here of Jimmy Hart's, talking about the Honky Tonk Man and Greg the Hammer Valentine Honky, former Intercontinental Champion. Many would say, he would anyway, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. And of course, the Hammer, former IC champ himself, and a former tag team champion with Brutus Beefcake. So some heavy hitters here, accompanied to the ring by their manager, Jimmy Hart. Now we get an insert promo from Jimmy, who says just when the Hart Foundation thought that they had the Rougeau brothers all figured out, Jimmy presents his new tag team of the Honky and the Hammer, baby. Gonna finish the Hart Foundation off for good, promises Jimmy here. As Jesse points out as the action gets going that Honky Tonk hasn't looked right in at least a month. Boy, I'll say. Meanwhile, in the ring, Jim Neidhart blasting the Hammer with a big forearm. You know that Anvil's forearms by now. He doesn't throw them at you. He throws them through you. And a nasty shot there for Valentine as the Hart Foundation in control early on over the heels get Honky Tonk Man in the corner until the Hitman gets hit from behind by the Hammer on the apron. And then the heel's going to take over control from there. Bret Hart able to dodge a Hammer charge, though, and Valentine accidentally nailing his own partner, the Honky Tonk Man, allowing the Hitman time to make the hot tag out to the Anvil. And in comes Jim Neidhart, a house of fire, cleaning the clock of both heels. And it's time for Honky Tonk to suffer a heart attack, it would seem. But luckily, Greg Valentine in there to break up the maneuver before it can happen on Honky Tonk. We have all 4 men in the ring at that point, continuing to brawl all around the ring. Honky and Bret going to battle out to the floor. Meanwhile, in the ring, Valentine applying the figure 4 on Jim Neidhart. Referee Joey Morella seems to have no idea what the fuck he's doing in there, running around, not really doing a whole lot of officiating here, Joey. Meanwhile, back on the floor, Bret Hart delivering an inverted atomic drop, taking the Honky Tonk Man down. Back in the ring, though, then the Hitman going to break up the Hammer's figure 4 on the Anvil with that patented needle point elbow to the base of the skull. At this point, all 4 of these guys have easily been fighting for over a minute's time. Referee looks lost for whatever reason this week. Things are clearly out of control. And it's at that point that Jimmy Hart jumps in the ring with megaphone in hand, which distracts Bret Hart long enough for Honky Tonk to come in from behind and smash the guitar over the back of the head of the Hitman. Oof, that's gotta hoit. Down goes Bret as Joey Morella finally calls for the disqualification. Not when all 4 men were in the ring for over a minute, not when shenanigans were going on the floor, not when Jimmy Hart got in the ring with the megaphone, but finally, it took Honky Tonk Man and his patented guitar shot to the back of Bret's head to cause a DQ finish. Match goes 4 minutes and 37 seconds. Clearly, the heels had to be disqualified here. Wait, no! This is apparently ruled a double disqualification after the guitar shot. What the fuck is that? Anvil going to run off the heels, but the damage already done. Then Neidhart back in the ring to check on the down Bret Hart. He looks out of it, needless to say, after a shot in the back of the head from Honky Tonk, but a double DQ called after Honky Tonk smashing the guitar over the head of the Hitman. Not so happy with that ruling. I wish Gorilla was on commentary for this one. But right now we go back to the event center again. Sean Mooney going to talk to the likes of Coco Beware, Tito Santana, talking about that 30-man extravaganza. We're also going to hear from the 6-man team of the fabulous Rougeau brothers and Dino, along with managers Jimmy Hart and Frenchie Martin.
Incredible what we just saw take place involving Bret the Hitman Hart. We'll try and keep you updated on his condition. But right now, I want to update you on what is going on with the Royal Rumble. It happens Sunday afternoon, January 15th. 30 superstars. The World Wrestling Federation will be involved. Right now, we are going to hear from 2, starting out with a Birdman, Coco Beware.
You see, Houston is a tough town. That's the reason why the Royal Rumble is in Houston. Because there's a lot of tough dudes running around town. And I happen to be one of them, brother. So I'm going to be rumbling my tail off inside that square circle. So everybody better beware of the little high-flying Birdman.
The Royal Rumble here in Houston, Texas, you're on your own. No friends, you gotta worry about yourself to survive. Every 2 minutes, a new wrestler's gonna hit the ring. I just hope that I draw late. Enfrente de toda la gente latina que me está escuchando, vengo a Houston en el Royal Rumble a ganar para todos ustedes. ¡Arriba!
It's the luck of the draw in this one. Each man will draw a number. The two wrestlers with the lowest number, they will enter the ring first. Every 2 minutes after that, the man with the next lowest number will enter the ring. Also in a six-man tag team matchup, the Hart Foundation to team with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. They will face the fabulous Rougeau brothers and Dino Bravo.
The Summit, Houston, Texas, six-man tag, 2 out of 3 falls, baby. We're ready to rumble.
Is that all you Americans could come up with? The Hart Foundation, Hacksaw Jim Duggan against the Quebec Connection? You're out of your mind.
You know what? Our brilliant managers here put this match together because we had 3 thorns in our sides, and we're going to get rid of those thorns all in one match.
That's right, on the Rumble Royal night, brother. It's gonna be our night. Jim Duggan, I've had it up to here with you, and I know how the Rougeaus feel about the Hart Foundation. We're gonna take our dime doing it, and we're gonna savor the victory twice in the same night. Jim Duggan, USA, you're going down!
All right, the Rougeaus and Bravo ready for Duggan and the Hart Foundation at the Royal Rumble. Coco and Tito Santana, just 2 more men in that big 30-man Royal Rumble upcoming at the pay-per-view. As we close out this week's program, we learned that next week on Superstars, we'll see in action King Haku, along with the Rockers, the reigning Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, Dino Bravo, plus, wow, lots of highlights. From Saturday night's main event, we're going to take a look at Brutus Beefcake versus the Outlaw Ron Bass, the Red Rooster battling Tito Santana, and Hulk Hogan stepping in the ring with the African Dream Akeem, plus an update on the condition of the Hitman, Bret Hart, after that incident just moments ago. And as we close out Superstars, guys, we have closing comments from both the Doctor of Style Slick and his man Akeem. We're also going to hear from the Hulkster regarding tonight's big matchup.
Yo, brother Hogan, this weekend I'm gonna dance out to the ring and then I'm gonna dance all over your body. In other words, homeboy, till you step into the squared circle with the big brother Akeem, it's gonna spell the end, the demise to your professional wrestling career.
This weekend, you're gonna see Hulkamania run wilder than it's ever been. I've got my mega power manager, the lovely Elizabeth, in my corner to add extra fuel to the fire as I take on one half of the Twin Towers, Akeem. And all I get to say to you, Slickster, is I hope I lure you in the bottom.
All right, Akeem states he's going to dance all over the Hulkster, brother. Meanwhile, Hulk Hogan, still with the handcuff on his wrist that was placed upon his arm a couple months ago now, which magically disappears whenever he wrestles, but that's okay. Hulkster says he's coming to dismantle one half of the newly formed Twin Towers tonight on Saturday night's main event. Now, I do apologize. The end of the Hulkster's promo there cut off incomplete on the video file I had. But, I mean, another episode in the books. We got Royal Rumble hype to no end, plus Saturday night's main event build-up for later tonight, and the Twin Towers are born. Great start here in the new year of 1989. And right now, guys, we're going to take just this quick WrestleCopia timeout, and we'll be back on the other side.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at USWApodcast.com.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here, curator of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, inviting you guys to listen to many of the programs here as part of the WrestleCopia brand, including, but not limited to, the Wrestling Memory Grenade, currently covering the 1988 and the WWF project. You can also listen to the Regional Wrestling Podcast, where we talk the territories You can also listen to the Wrestling Stoop with the legend himself, Bob Roop. But that's not all. You can also check out the Pro Wrestling Academy with the professor of Pro Resu, Mr. Dan Ginnity. Dan and I go back in time and cover the history of Japanese professional wrestling in the English language. And you can listen to all of those shows and more, all part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, located over at WrestleCopia.com. That's WrestleCopia.com, and anywhere your podcast streaming needs are met. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to our social media guys for all the latest goings on here at the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Plus, I'm constantly adding old school video clips and pictures from throughout wrestling history. You can follow us over on X, formerly Twitter, at Wrestling Grenade. That's at RASSLIN Grenade. Also, follow and like me, Facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade. And why not subscribe to YouTube.com/Wrestling Grenade. And of course, now would be a fantastic time to become a WrestleCopia patron over at patreon.com/WrestleCopia. That address again, patreon.com/WrestleCopia, where you get so many gifts, including all of my insanely detailed show notes for every episode of The Grenade Show, Regional Wrestling, and the Monday Warfare podcast. You'll also get early access to a lot of the podcasts here on the WrestleCopia brand, where you can listen days and sometimes as much as a week earlier than the rest of the listeners. But that's still not all, guys. You also get at least a dozen digital downloads for your viewing and reading pleasure each and every month, plus random bonus video drops, and of course, the Patreon exclusive Watch Along series covering many past WWF and WCW events. And if that's not all, videocasts, also now a part of Patreon. No subscription, cancel anytime. Give it a try for a month, guys. I think you'll like the content that I offer, and every penny of it goes right back here into paying the bills. So if you're looking to support that next up-and-coming podcast brand, please consider making it WrestleCopia. Help me pay some of the bills to keep the WrestleCopia Podcast Network and all of the great shows here up and running for the months and the years to come.
This is Wrestling Nostalgia, the podcast that dives into wrestling history. Hey, wrestling fans, I'm Dave Dynasty, and if you enjoy podcasts that are knowledgeable and history-driven, then Wrestling Nostalgia is for you. With great guests and fun interviews, there are over 200 episodes in our archives. We chat with several first-time guests and often cover topics not discussed on other podcasts. Look up Wrestling Nostalgia on your favorite podcast platform and visit all of our links at linktree/WrestlePod. That is linktr.ee/RASSLEPOD. And remember, wherever you go, whatever you do, be good, be safe, and keep on growing.
All right, guys, we are back for more fun action here this weekend in WWF World, heading back to Wrestling Challenge, January 8th, 1989. All right, it is challenge time for January 8th. Tape back December 7th, Tampa, Florida at the Sundome. We get Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon on commentary here as we go off to the ring for the mighty Hercules. His opponent this week, one Barry Horowitz. Little pat on the back. We get an insert promo during Herc's match from the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, who tells his slave that at the end of the Rumble, the chain Hercules wears will be tied around his feet. Jesus, what are we doing? Meanwhile, Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon on commentary continuing to put over the narrative that there are rumors that the $1 Million Man plans to buy his way to a late number at the Royal Rumble. Back to the action, though, the cocky Horowitz shoving Hercules and playing with the chains around his neck to start the match, clearly upsetting the mythological Mighty One, who points at Barry with some strong words. But Horowitz slaps the hand of Hercules away. Tell me he did not just do that. Barry wisely bailing to the floor, but Hercules forced to put the chains down. And as he does, Horowitz back in the ring, sneak attack, drop-kicking Hercules from behind, sending him into the corner, where Barry going to work the Mighty One over. However, Herc going to block an Irish whip and clothesline Barry right out of his boots. followed by a nice series of jabs, big clothesline leading to the torture rack style backbreaker, giving Hercules the win, 2 minutes, 40 seconds. Hercules looking good heading into the Rumble matchup as we go off now to Special Report and Lord Alfred Hayes. The topic this week, the fabulous Rougeau brothers, who have now officially moved to the United States of America. Yes, indeed, Memphis, Tennessee. Jacques and Raymond Rougeau are now and forever all-American boys. I'm waving my flag, believe me, guys. As we head back to the ring, more action. Newcomer to the WWF, rugged Ronnie Garvin stepping in the ring with Steve Lombardi, who may have a makeover before too long. Lombardi looking a little more toned as well, body-wise, and aggressive here as the action gets going. Just something different about this man from Brooklyn all of a sudden. Lots of brawling going on here, but unfortunately, he's in the ring with the wrong guy for that. We get an insert promo from Garvin as well, looking forward to all the new competition that he steps in the ring with at the Royal Rumble. Then it's back to the action for the Garvin Stomp, followed by a double stomp, and Ronnie Garvin going to finish this one. Patented Pile Driver gets the win, 2 minutes, 37 seconds. Ronnie Garvin, what can you say? Tough man, believable. He knows the tough guy gimmick very well. But in the land of the late 80s WWF, a little more personality might have helped him go a long way. It is what it is, though. Ronnie Garvin's still one tough dude. Looking forward to seeing him at the pay-per-view as we get a Royal Rumble promo ad, then back to the ring to talk about tough dudes back to back. First, it was Ronnie Garvin. Now it's King Haku in the ring with manager Bobby Heenan. His opponent this week, Martin Roy, as Bobby Heenan clearly left commentary to be with the King here and get some loud weasel chants for his troubles. We get an insert promo from the former King, Harley Race, who claims he's the real king of the World Wrestling Federation. Harley telling Haku he has only 1 week remaining to play king. A cosplay king, I suppose, is Haku. Boy, tell that to his face. I'm sure Harley will. Well, let the mauling begin. The action gets going. Back suplex. And as Haku continues to beat Roy down, Martin going to try a reverse crossbody at one point. Haku ducking out of the way, landing a big slam, and going up to the top rope. Flying splash, a la Jimmy Snuka, sorta. Haku getting the win, 2 minutes and 16 seconds here. Using a different move this week. Didn't use the thrust kick. But we'll see that come into play very soon here at the pay-per-view. But with little seen of Harley Race since his return a couple months back, coupled with no TV time for this feud outside of some Haku promos at the event center, this battle for the crown has very little steam put behind it. And I get why, based on the fallout, what's going to happen afterwards, but they could have given this at least a little something behind it to make it more meaningful. But I guess they devote their time to bigger things on the card and talent plans moving forward, not what they've done in the past. But Battle for the Crown upcoming. King Haku meeting Harley Race. As we go off now to the event center, Sean Mooney going to speak with the likes of the six-man team of the Hart Foundation and Jim Duggan, and this man returning to the World Wrestling Federation, one of my favorites, Rick Martel.
And we are literally days away from the action. Hello, everyone. I'm Sean Mooney back at the Event Center. The Royal Rumble taking place 1 week from this Sunday in Houston at the Summit, Sunday afternoon, January 15th. The action will start at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can see this great event exclusively on a pay-per-view basis. He's back. He will be in the Royal Rumble. Let's hear from Rick Martel.
Yes, the Royal Rumble match is the match that I picked to show and to prove the doctors wrong. And to show them that I'm coming back to wrestling. I don't care what they say. They won't run my life. Yes, my life is wrestling. And yes, it's not going to be easy in that Royal Rumble. 30 men out to prove themselves. But I have a lot to prove. And I have a lot to be thankful for. The fans were behind me all the way. So now I'm going to show my appreciation. And I'm going to go into that ring and give my 100% no matter what number I pick.
Rick Martel out to prove not only to himself, but everyone in the World Wrestling Federation, he is back. Also in a six-man tag team match, Dino Bravo and the fabulous Rougeau brothers to take on the Hart Foundation and Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Houston is the place. The Summit is where it's all gonna happen. The Hart Foundation and Hacksaw. We got 2 out of 3 falls with the Rougeau brothers and Dino Bravo.
The Rougeaus and Dino Bravo, they're gonna pin us 2 times. We got news for you, Rougeaus, Jimmy Hart and Dino Bravo. Yeah. It's not gonna be no wrestling match. It's gonna be a fight. And if you guys want 2 out of 3, that's fine. Just remember one thing. It's going to be 2 out of 4 if things get out of hand, and I'm not going to take nothing away from you guys. Sure, you can wrestle, and sure, you look good, but you can't fight a lick, and we're coming after you. Tough guy, all together, fellas. Oh!
6-man tag team matchup. 2 out of 3 falls will win this incredible bout. It's all part of the Royal Rumble.
Rick Martel planning to prove the doctors wrong. I wonder if he's gunning for Demolition. Remember, they're the ones that took him out, but they're now baby faces. So do we forget that? Do we leave that part out? I don't know. Rick Martel coming back to the World Wrestling Federation. Hartz and Duggan looking forward to their match with the Rougeaus and Dino Bravo. And it's back to the ring for the Warlord and Barbarian, the Powers of Pain, managed by Mr. Fuji. Their opponents, Omar Atlas and Bob Emery. As we get an insert promo here from Fuji, focused on the Rumble, but looking to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, as the Powers of Pain will be gunning for the Demolition in the big 30-man extravaganza. And then it comes down at the end to the Warlord versus the Barbarian. Either way, Fuji going to walk out the winner there. In the ring here against Omar and Emery, complete beatdown by the Powers of Pain. First on the veteran Atlas, then it's Emery's turn. And they finish him off with a doomsday device of sorts. Warlord going to scoop Emery up in a bear hug. Barbarian off the top rope with a clothesline gives the POP the win. 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Aggressive as ever, though. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out, this heel Powers of Pain. I'm just not sold on it yet. As we continue on back to the action, Hacksaw Jim Duggan in the ring now, taking on Trent Knight. As the Stars and Stripes theme has already been taken away from Duggan, it appears, after just 1 taping, but apparently somebody in WCW liked it, because we will hear it again down the line. We also get an insert promo during this match from Dino Bravo on the upcoming 6-man tag at the pay-per-view. Remember, it's 2 out of 3 falls. Dino Bravo planning on beating Duggan twice in 1 night. In the ring, though, it's Hacksaw with an atomic drop, big knee drop, followed by the 3-point stance and the jumping clothesline, still leaving his feet at this point, gives Duggan the win, 1 minute and 58 seconds. And then we're off now to a special interview. Going to go up to the stage. Mean Gene Okerlund going to talk with Slick, the Big Boss Man, and Akeem.
All right, joining me this week, along with their manager, the Doctor of Style, they are the Twin Towers, the African Dream, Akeem, and the Big Boss Man. We are 1 week away from one of the biggest extravaganzas in World Wrestling Federation history. I am talking about the Royal Rumble. 30 men battling it out in this big one, including the Big Boss Man.
That's right, boy. Every one of you scum out there to call yourselves Hulk Hogan fans. You see me beat you like a dog, Hulk Hogan. What was running through your mind when you was laying there in mercy? Well, in the Royal Rumble, don't turn your back on me. I know you got more hearts than brain, boy. I've run across your kind before that wanted to buck on a Big Boss Man. Well, the only thing that's going to save you in the Royal Rumble, boy, is a stay of execution. Because when you get in the ring with me, it's just like being on death row.
All right, I thank you. Akeem, you're going to be in the big Royal Rumble, too.
Akeem's still dancing. The music stopped 10 minutes ago.
Big Boss Man, he speaks the truth. You know what I mean? And a little thing about the Royal Rumble, there's some big men in there. Big John Studd, brother. Andre the Giant. I don't care who it happens to be in the Royal Rumble. I'm coming out on top of that, baby.
All right, a week away, Slick. You've got to have some plans in the back of your mind in regards to this one.
Exactly. And one thing I want to get clear right here tonight is that from tonight on, these 2 mammoth individuals will be referred to collectively as the Twin Towers.
The Twin Towers?
That's it, brother, the Twin Towers. And another thing that I want to make perfectly clear is that their road to greatness will begin January the 15th in Houston, Texas at the Royal Rumble, brother.
All right, I thank you. These are the Twin Towers along with their manager, Slick.
Well, more definitively here, Slick announcing Akeem and the Big Boss Man, now collectively known as the Twin Towers, as the Boss Man talks beating Hulk Hogan like a dog. The only thing that will save the Hulkster at the Royal Rumble is a stay of execution. Meanwhile, Akeem, a little more of the same, both been vowing to win the Rumble, so they're ready to go too. We've heard Axe and Smash, we've heard Luke and Butch, Barbarian and Warlord, and now the Twin Towers, stating it could come down to me and you, and at the end of the day, it's going to be me walking out the victor. So they're certainly playing into that every man aspect for certain. As we go off to the Royal Rumble report, another report here. And then we're off to the Bushwhackers vignette number 7. Man, I just do not remember them having this many vignettes. Luke and Butch, fine dining in a fancy restaurant, mate. Not quite sure what is over top of Luke's ear in this vignette. It looks like maybe a hearing aid, stitches. I don't know. He's got something going on over the top of his right ear, though. Not really sure what that's about. But they do order everything on the menu. And the food looks good, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. Lots of milkshakes for a fancy restaurant, I got to say, as they toss their utensils to the floor and dig in bare hands. And we see them eat, sort of, in fast motion, with some old-timey comedy music begins to play over top of it. Just another fun vignette here as we fast forward through the video. They've cleared the entire table. Luke with a terrible fake burp into the camera as they ask them to bring on the dessert, mate. Bloody lovely. Gotta say, Luke and Butch, the Bushwhackers, they'll be here any day now on your TV screens in the ring. And the world will never, ever be the same again. I promise you that. We've got one more match this week on Wrestling Challenge. It's Ravishing Rick Rude with manager Bobby Heenan taking on Robin Idol. Not familiar with him. Bobby Heenan back at ringside for the second time here on Challenge as Rude begins to upgrade his robes. Really nice blue robe here by the Ravishing One. We also get an insert promo from the Ultimate Warrior during this match talking the Super Posedown. Warrior says he's swelling while Rick Rude is becoming frail in fear of the power of the Ultimate Warrior. So, Ultimate Warrior swelling. Need I say more there? In the ring, the Ravishing One with a snap suplex and the Rude Awakening neckbreaker. Going to give Rude the win just 1 minute, 29 seconds. And post-match, the Rude Awakening kiss to a lovely lady sporting what else but a Simply Ravishing t-shirt. And then it's back one more time to the event center here on Challenge with Sean Mooney. We're going to hear from the likes of Andre the Giant and manager Bobby Heenan. We're going to also hear from the former Dream Team. First from Greg Valentine and then from Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
The countdown has begun. It will happen 1 week from this Sunday, the Royal Rumble to take place, and you can see it on television exclusively on a pay-per-view basis. And what an afternoon it is going to be. The Royal Rumble involving 30 superstars of the World Wrestling Federation. It's every man for himself. And right now, let's hear from some of the participants.
Hammer the Royal Rumble, baby, every man for himself.
It's always been that way for me, Jimmy Hart. I've always been for myself. Ever since I started out in the World Wrestling Federation, Greg Valentine was #1, and that's exactly the way I'm going to think going into this Royal Rumble. Even if it's honky tonk I have to go up against, I'm going to come out smoking.
That's right, you know the summit, January 15th. Ha, the Royal Rumble, Ron Bass. Could be my opportunity to finish you off once and for all, baby. And when you're gone, you're gonna be gone all the way, baby. It's gonna all go. It's cue ball time.
Everybody's talking about the Royal Rumble, probably the biggest happening in professional sports. 30 men in the ring, all by themselves.
Right.
Now I've got my brain busters in there.
I tore him up.
We got to keep family unity now.
Yeah, but I want to win it.
Okay, I understand that.
That's why I'm proud to be in your family.
See, I can't lose.
Wait, you want to be a winner?
Yes.
That's why you got me. To be a winner. I never been involved in the Royal Rumble. But I tell you one thing, I never lost a match, and this man knows it. That's why I come in there. I don't care who's going to be in the front of me or on my back. I will tear him out, and I will be the winner. Like I used to all the time, the #1.
Well, comments finishing up there from Andre the Giant. Many believe he is the favorite in the Royal Rumble. He will have some of his family members in the ring at the same time. But this is no family affair. It's every man for himself. And here's how you can see the Royal Rumble.
Well, Bobby talking family unity, but the Giant, I want to win. Andre wants to win it all. Heenan says, you know what, at the end of the day, I can't lose. Andre the Giant says, family unity, to that, I want to win the whole thing, the Royal Rumble. Meanwhile, Greg Valentine says he's going to be coming out smoking. I kind of believe that. Also, Beefcake still has his eyes on Ron Bass, promising that Bass is going to be gone all the way. Well, that's kind of true, Beefer. But next time here on Wrestling Challenge, the Brainbusters in action along with Bad News Brown, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, highlights from Saturday night's main event, and so much more next week here on the program. As we conclude Wrestling Challenge, we got one more piece of business this week, guys, and it's off to Primetime Wrestling, January 9th, 1989.
everyone, and welcome to Primetime Wrestling. My associate, I'm surprised you even showed up
I'm
today.
your host, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
I'm surprised you're not in a hospital.
Surprised? What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? You got clobbered. You got your clock cleaned over the weekend.
Hey, talk about what's happening here today.
Well, I am talking about that's our feature match today. Tito Santana against the Red Rooster.
No, it's not our feature match.
Oh, yes, it is.
No, it's not. I will not see anything like that.
What are you talking about?
I've been yelling all week. I'm hitting the throat. Everything's happened to me, but I will not show that match on my program.
Well, you don't have to. I will.
No, you won't. I'm going to make sure somebody's going to put a stop to this.
You better leave now then, because that match is going to air right. Folks, that match will air right here this week on this program.
I'm going to get to the powers that be.
Go ahead. Have a nice trip. He's upset. I'm surprised indeed that he did not end up in a hospital after what the Red Rooster. Well, you'll get to see that later on in the program. Some other interesting matches coming up. Young Stallions are going to see action. A whole lot of other superstars here in the World Wrestling Federation. And we're just 1 week away from the big event, the Royal Rumble in the Summit in Houston. It's going to be a happening. Don't miss out on it. You're not too early and you're not too late if you order right now. So get a hold of your cable company. Make sure they know exactly that you want to be part of the Royal Rumble in Houston at the Summit. It's going to be happening. All those exciting matches, the big 30-man over-the-top battle royal, and a whole host of other things, including 6-man tag team action, the ladies' title on the line once again, and, of course, a new king perhaps will be crowned. But right now, our first matchup, the Honky Tonk Man joining forces with the Hammer against the Hart Foundation.
All right, primetime, January 9th, hosted as always by Bobby the Brain Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon. And this is one of those weird weeks where Bobby kind of talks with a lisp. And I don't really know the backstory to that, but I'm going to look into that and try to get a better idea of what was going on. I can speculate, but I hate to do that here on the program right now. But just one of those odd times. It's happened before. Not often. Maybe once a year, but what we do get this from Bobby every once in a while where his speech is, there's some sort of an impediment going on. And I'm not really sure the full story behind it. But intro there, hard sell for the Royal Rumble. Bobby Heenan protesting, how dare you, you better not, Gorilla, show the footage of the matchup between the Red Rooster and Tito Santana that took place over the weekend at Saturday night's main event. Spoiler alert, guys, we're going to deep dive into it next week here as part of the big show on NBC. But the Rooster leaving the camp, the family of Bobby Heenan and the Brain kind of humiliated, doesn't want the video footage shown here on Primetime Wrestling. As we go off now, coming out of a John Studd segment, we're going to hear what Bobby Heenan thinks about his former charge.
He's bigger, he's badder than I've ever seen him before. Big John Studd, most impressive, Brain. You got to admit it. Nobody pushes iron like that. Even Dino Bravo would have trouble keeping up with him.
He's a very powerful man. He's a very strong man.
Certainly
he's a very dumb man. He's an ingrate.
What do you mean
You know what
ingrate?
I've done for that man? How I've bent over backwards for him?
Will you stop?
What I did for this man, now he comes back on the scene, doesn't even notify me.
What did you want him to do? Wait until you sold him?
No, he wanted to pursue a movie career, so he took 2 years off and went to Hollywood. Now he's back. He never called me, never asked me to book him, never asked me any fundamentals about our contractual negotiations or nothing. He just showed up on the scene and told me to take a hike.
Don't you think that the contract was null and void after the first year?
It was a handshake. I respected him as a gentleman.
Handshake?
That's how I do
Had to
business.
be money in the hand that you shook. I got news for you. He's going to play a very important part in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, I know what he's going to do because I know how he thinks. He's going to hit that ring, step over that top rope, start heaving people out. He wants to make an impression in the World Wrestling Federation.
We'll be right back right after this.
All right, the Brain referring to John Studd as an ingrate who left professional wrestling, went off to Hollywood, couldn't hack it there, and now he's back. Turning his back on the Heenan family. How dare you? You can't do that, John Studd, and think you'll get away with it. I'm sure Studd will have to answer to the likes of Andre the Giant, Ravishing Rick Rude, and whomever else he may see in the weeks to come. As up next, we come out of a Ronnie Garvin matchup. Garvin going over there. We hear rumors in regards to the $1 Million Man and the Royal Rumble.
Now, Ronnie Garvin, most impressive. Brain, let me ask you this. Garvin, with his size and this over-the-top 30-man in the Royal Rumble, how effective can he be?
Ronnie Garvin can be very effective. Man's no slouch.
The
bigger you are, sometimes you can get a guy over easy.
I hear rumors that the $1 Million Man is looking to buy other people's numbers.
Well, so he can get to the ring last?
Yeah.
I don't know where you'd hear something like that. That'd be
Very reliable source.
That would be totally corrupt.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
That would be unsportsmanlike.
And I hope that that's not true, because if the press gets a hold of that information,
Let's say you had number 30 and Dibiase made you an offer. Would you sell?
Absolutely not.
I'd sell if I had number 1.
You'd sell in a minute. You'd sell whatever number you had.
Hey, business is business. That's how I look at it.
Business is business.
Can't
Plenty
believe you're
more
gonna show
exciting action coming up
Santana
here
match.
this week on Prime Time, including our feature, Santana against the Rooster.
Well, we've talked about it already. They continue to run rampant, talking about the rumors that Ted DiBiase wants to buy, perhaps purchase the number 30, if not another higher number there at the Royal Rumble. But Bobby's stating, well, that would be unsportsmanlike. I don't think he'll do that, Gorilla. But what a wise move. Can money talk? Can money truly buy anything? We'll have to wait and see if DiBiase gets his wish moving into the pay-per-view, as we've got one more soundbite for you here this week, guys. Gorilla Monsoon announcing that the Red Rooster will be right here in studio next week as a special guest of Primetime Wrestling.
I loved every minute of it. You got just what you deserved, Brain. Admit it. Stuck your nose in one too many times. I was impressed. In fact, I'm going to have him as my special guest here next week, right here on Primetime.
You're having Santana next week as your guest here?
No, dum-dum, the Red Rooster.
No, you're not having him here next week.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
He's going to be my special co-host.
Where am I going to sit? What am I going to do?
I don't know, and personally, I don't care.
Nobody goes over a darn thing with me. Just going to come up and have him as a guest.
Look, you made the Hulkster keel over here.
I'll make a lot of things happen here. You cannot just do that.
Oh, yeah, I can. I'm the host here. I can do
How am I going to sit here with him?
I just decided to do that right now. What's wrong with that? I'll just pick up the phone, get a hold of the Red Rooster, and say, Rooster, come on down to Primetime. Help me host the program.
You want to put surprises on me? Fine.
Good.
You're not the only person capable of doing that.
Well, whatever. No, that's no problem. No, I don't have a problem with that at all. When he's a manager and he's out there, whatever happens to him, happens to him. No, you don't have to apologize to me, Rooster. Yeah, you can make it, though. Yes. Well, whatever you need. When you come in at the airport, we'll have somebody pick you up with a limo or whatever. You know, as long as you can confirm with me now that you will be here. You can. Great. All right, thanks. Okay, see you next week. Bye-bye. Well, folks, it's all lined up. It's all confirmed. Red Rooster will be our special guest here next week on Primetime Wrestling. So long, everyone. Where do the brain hears that?
Bobby stating, oh no. Gorilla stating, oh yes, next week indeed. Terry Taylor, the Red Rooster, will be right here live in studio as a guest of Primetime Wrestling. And boy, will he ever, guys. Stay tuned for that big angle alert coming up right here next week on Primetime. Maybe the first angle to take place on the actual set of Primetime, at least that I can remember off the top of my head. But right now, guys, we've got some exclusive matches to talk about. I've also got some extra event centers for anybody interested in audio bites, all pertaining to the Royal Rumble. I know a lot of guys love that hype to listen to the guys cutting the promos. We're going to hear from the likes of Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan, the Powers of Pain, Rick Martel, Bad News Brown, Rockin' Robin. Hey, she's got a match coming up defending her title against Judy Martin at the pay-per-view. Plus, we'll hear more from Ted DiBiase, the Bushwhackers, Dino Bravo, and the Fabulous Rougeaus.
It will happen live from the Summit in Houston this Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. You have a chance to see it all exclusively on a pay-per-view basis. Do not miss this opportunity. The Royal Rumble, 30 superstars in the ring at the same time in the same match. Right now, standing by are two of the odds-on favorites, starting off with Andre the Giant. Then we'll hear from Hulk Hogan.
This Sunday afternoon, you might think he's a marked man in the Royal Rumble. Everybody's after him. Everybody wants to get him out. But listen to this. Picture this. Picture what happens when he gets his hands on Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, that way.
How about the Young Rockers?
Right.
How about Bad News Brown? How about the Big Boss Man? How about Hulk Hogan? How about when you wade your way through, get the Bushwhackers? How about Jake the Snake Roberts?
We're going to have a Royal Rumble in Texas, brother. Houston, Texas at the Summit. And when I get in that ring, lovely Elizabeth, I'm going to be nothing but businessman. The manager of the Mega Powers has a business deal between the Macho Man and myself to guide us on to victory. But in this thing, Elizabeth, I'm going to be all business because there are no friends. There are no enemies. If me and the Macho Man end up there at the end together, we're going to have to fight it out. If something happens and I end up in there against the Boss Man and Akeem, I'm going to have to dig down for every bit of Hulkamania just to fight for my life.
But everything's different now, man. Ever since I went to the magic mirror in Venice Beach and said, mirror, mirror on the wall, what kind of gasoline makes me want to brawl? The mirror said, it's the spirit of Hulkamania. 5 long years Hulkamania's been running wild. And what are those dudes gonna do, Elizabeth, when the largest arms in the world rumble on them?
Hulk Hogan confident he will be the winner of the Royal Rumble coming your way this Sunday afternoon. It will happen live from Houston at the Summit, and you have the chance to see it exclusively on pay-per-view. Many of you have already made plans. If you haven't, do it now. It happens this Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now, some of the participants in the Royal Rumble are standing by.
This Sunday afternoon, the Royal Rumble. Let me tell you, it's gonna be rough and tough. But one of my men might win. Could be the Barbarian, could be the Warlord. One would win. You understand? But Master Fuji will come out victoriously with all this.
Countdown has started. This Sunday afternoon, the biggest turning point of my career, of my life. Yes, the Royal Rumble, 30 men, the top stars of the WWF in the same ring. I have a lot to prove, and I'm anxious to do it. Yes, I am back. I'm going to show everybody I feel great, and I'm back against all odds.
This Sunday afternoon, the Royal Rumble, if I was you beer belly sharecroppers, not only would I have my ticket for the Royal Rumble, but I would find out where the nearest hospital is, because there are going to be a lot of people put there, and they're going to be put there by Bad News Brown, because when I get in that ring, I have no friends. Everybody's my enemy, and everybody's going down.
Bad News Brown, he likes his chances in the Royal Rumble, and there is more action in a match for the World Wrestling Federation Women's Championship. Judy Martin to face the champion, Rockin' Robin.
Hey, this Sunday afternoon, I'll be looking at some stiff competition in you, Judy Martin. Let me tell you, you better bring your weight, your height, and your experience, because I'm a determined young lady. Don't think you're going to chew me up like a little box of Cracker Jacks. Just remember, in every box of Cracker Jacks, there's always a little surprise.
World Wrestling Federation Women's Championship on the line, but that is just part of the action, all part of the Royal Rumble. Welcome back to the Event Center. The Royal Rumble, it happens this Sunday afternoon. And it is finally here. The Royal Rumble, 30 superstars of the World Wrestling Federation involved. No partners, only opponents. It's every man for himself. Right now, standing by are some of the participants. We will hear from the Bushwhackers. But first off, let's hear from the $1 Million Man, Ted Dibiase.
This Sunday afternoon at the Summit, Houston, Texas, the Royal Rumble, the most prestigious wrestling event in this year so far. 30 of the top athletes in all of the wrestling world will be there, and the athlete will be there. Yours truly, the $1 Million Man. And whoever I don't buy, I guarantee you I'll beat.
This Sunday afternoon, the Royal Rumble. Yeah, that's it, Cousin Luke. 30 of the top stars in the WWF bloody earth. Yeah, it's all for one and one for all. 30 guys over the top. Elimination, Cousin Luke. That's right, Cousin. It could be me left there. It could be me. It could be me, Cousin Luke. That's me.
Bushwhackers, they realize it's every man for himself in the Royal Rumble. In a 6-man tag team matchup on one side, the fabulous Rougeau brothers and Canadian strongman Dino Bravo.
Heart Foundation, the Rougeaus are going to take you out, baby, in the Royal Rumble, Daddy.
We're going to more than take him out. We're going to take him out and dump him. Like Bret Hart, we're going to dump you back to Canada, and the rest we're going to dump you wherever they have dumps at.
That's right, we're going to beat all 3 of them. Hacksaw, Cross-Eye, Jim Duggan, and the Heart Foundation.
And you know what? We're going to do it twice because it's a 2-on-3.
Sunday
you know what? We love the big events. We love the Royal Rumble. But when we're finished with you...
this Sunday afternoon! Ah!
Dino Bravo and the fabulous Rougeau brothers to face Hacksaw, Jim Duggan, and the Heart Foundation in a 6-man tag team matchup, just part of the action of the Royal Rumble. See it exclusively on pay-per-view.
All right, lots of Event Center fun there, guys, but the fun all done as we begin to wrap up this edition of Primetime Wrestling. Some exclusive matchups on this card, including aired from the Los Angeles Sports Arena, Akeem picking up a victory over Coco Beware back on December 17th. Pretty current date. January 4th, 1989, Birmingham, Alabama at the Jefferson Civic Center. $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase over Paul Roma with the $1 Million Dream. Match goes about 10 minutes. Good match there between DiBiase and Roma for TV. Rougeau's over at Tommy Angel and Rusty Riddle, I believe also taped January 4th. And Tito Santana scoring a win over the Red Rooster as part of Saturday night's main event. Not an exclusive, but it does play into next week. Tito over the Rooster, leading to Rooster defecting from the Heenan family. And, well, stay tuned next week here on The Grenade, guys. We're going to be covering Saturday night's main event in its entirety, talking about the Hulkster battling the African Dream Akeem. Tito Santana, of course, yes, against the Red Rooster. It's Brutus the Barber Beefcake versus the Outlaw Ron Bass. Hair versus hair. Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig versus the Birdman Coco Beware, and the Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, defending his title against the former champ, the Honky Tonk Man. All of that going on as part of the Snme this coming weekend. This weekend here that we just covered. In fact, we're going to cover it here on The Grenade next week, so stay tuned, guys, for that. And as we wrap up this episode of The Grenade, so much going on already here in 1989. Twin Towers are formed. Saturday night's main event, first week of the year, kicking things off the right way, and then the second week of the year going to be the Royal Rumble already coming upon us. So over the next few weeks, we've got a lot of big-time action going on here over The Grenade. Stay tuned for that. And you better believe the videocast version coming to the ultimate tier at patreon.com/WrestleCopia as well. Speaking of Patreon, guys, we've got so many new videocasts, all of the regional wrestling unreals over there already put up. 6-7 episodes already up of the regional wrestling unreal video series as part of that ultimate tier at Patreon as well. Don't forget the VIP Superfan tier, another new edition of Monday Warfare, the videocast, covering another week in the Monday Night War. Jamie Ward joined us for the latest edition of that, and we got another one right around the corner. John Paz going to return for that one. Also at the VIP tier, new Coliseum videocast, new Pro Wrestling Academy Summer Edition. The professor himself, Dan Ginnity, has put together quite a list of hot matches for the next episode. Maybe out by the time you hear this, so go check that out right now. Again, patreon.com/WrestleCopia. We are a self-funded brand. All of our income to keep this thing up and running comes from the listeners themselves. Got to thank you guys so much for your support and your contributions and your consideration to do so. And last but certainly not least, be sure to head on over to WrestleCopia.com. Check out all the great podcasts going on right now as part of the network. But we're going to wrap it up this week, guys. Be back next week. Saturday night's main event right around the corner. Until then, this is Ray Russell saying, from pillar to post and coast to coast, you pull the pin, and I'll pick up the pieces right here on the Wrestling Memory Grenade. I'll see you next week. Don't miss it. Be there!
When the big brother Akeem finishes with you this weekend, unappropriate too would be another one bites the dust.
Yo, brother Hogan, you don't know how bad a dude you messing with here, boy.
You know you hog the spotlight a little too long, boy.
This weekend, you're going to see Hulkamania in the largest arms in the world run wilder than it's ever ran, man. I'm going to be fighting for all my little Hulksters. I'm going to be fighting to defend my honor against one half of the Twin Towers, the giant Akeem. But also, I'm going to be fighting to protect my mega power manager, the lovely Elizabeth. What you going to do, Slickster, when Hulkamania runs wild on you?
There's big men and then there's strong men. And I'm the only big, strong man in the World Wrestling Federation. Ah!